All right. Yes. Hello there, and welcome back for another episode of TapCaf Transmissions, the only Star Wars podcast with such a strong legacy, I guess. I'm Corey, joined as always by Mr. Eckhartsladder. How are you doing tonight, Justin?
Doing well. I mean, we've got to be one of the most consistently uploading podcasts, like the most episodes at this point.
I don't think we want to
Top 10
say consistently uploading, Justin. That's
consistently recording.
okay.
But yeah, like we must, top 5% in total episodes, right? So many start and stop. We're on episode what now?
180 something?
Yeah.
Let's see what Podbean has to
For
say
one a
about
week,
that.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, we've taken a couple weeks off, but we rarely miss like more than 2 weeks in a row, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, 191 was Death Troopers. So I think this is 192.
Okay.
Incredible stuff.
Incredible stuff.
And we still haven't finished the Star Wars.
No, we still there's Star Wars left to experience.
Yeah, there's whole wars to finish.
Mhm.
But tonight's war, we are going to be talking about Legacy Part 1, Broken. So that's issues 1 through 3, and then 5 through 7. Not issue 4. I did read issue 4, noob, so we can like mention it, but it's not technically part of the overall arc.
Yeah, I didn't read that one. Do you want to briefly summarize it?
So basically, it's just the story of a stormtrooper who is new to his squad in the Imperial Civil War, the Second Imperial Civil War between Crate's forces and Emperor Fel's. And because it was 2006, they call him Noob, and someone says "Yo" in it. So it really tracks.
Very good. Yeah, no, this is definitely not a comic series that
Came out in
that
2006.
yeah. This is the most 2006 comic series of all time. Like all you needed was Cade Skywalker watching the E3 trailer for Halo 3 and it would have been perfect.
All right, so we're technically not done New Jedi Order yet. The plan at this point is still to talk about it, to talk about Unifying Force next week, hopefully, maybe the week after, depending on how everyone's reading goes, because we've both got to read it. We've also got to get Ilkin reading it. We got to make sure he's ready. So that'll be happening, but for our new comic series, Legacy really ties into the NJO. It's kind of a sequel series to it, even though there's still books between NJO and Legacy. So it just kind of makes sense to get going on this.
Yeah.
You want to give a brief primer to the Legacy era?
Yeah, you thought that the second Galactic Civil War was confusing. Boy oh boy, this one's a doozy. So we're 100 in how many years after Endor at this point? Like
130 or after
130?
Endor,
Yeah.
125 then.
Yeah.
Well, there's a time
So
jump in this as well, which is
right. So basically, what's happened is the Galactic Alliance has continued to exist. The Empire has kind of grown stronger within its half of the Alliance. Um, and out of nowhere, the Sith, who have been rebuilding on Korriban, attack, and they partner with the Imperial side of the Galactic Alliance, the Empire, led by Roan Fel, leave the Alliance, and they turn on the Alliance, and there's a massive war. However, shocker, when you partner with the Sith, things end up poorly, and then the Sith end up betraying the Empire. The Empire kind of splits, with one half going with Roan Fel, the other half joining the Sith, and that's sort of the Imperial Civil War. And the Jedi are also wiped out by yet another purge. Many of them, not all. It's almost it is. Yeah, it's a lot like Order 66 in terms of like how many Jedi are left compared to how many were left. Except this time they're being hunted openly by Sith. Crate isn't a rule of two Sith. He's a proponent of the One Sith, where he's sort of kind of exactly what it was like in the past, just with a different name, where there's one Sith who's elevated above all the others, and then lots of little minions. I'd say the main difference is they're a lot more. They at least pretend to be a lot more devoted.
Yeah, like there's so Crate has an issue where he's got this Yuzon Vong armor on, and so he's showing some weakness.
No, it's I don't even think we know it's Vong armor, do we? At this
We
point, does
do,
it
because
say?
he goes to Korriban and he talks to Nihilus, Bane, and Dedu, and he's like to
Yeah.
Bane, "Oh, you got your Orbalisks off. How do I get my Yuzon Vong spores off?"
Oh, I didn't see that he said
And
use
yeah,
on wrong
so
specifically. Okay.
so it's out there, secrets out, but
There's so many funny funny pictures or like captures in this, like just panels rather. And my favorite one has got to be when like all the Sith Lords are talking, and then it goes to Nihilus, and it's just like,
this is your fate.
it's just like bro thinks he's talking. Just,
Like
I'll put
they
I'll
do
put some in the
have that scene where that's happening, and then Darth Bane, I think, says this is your fate, or maybe it's Andedu. Like, were they
yeah.
saying you're gonna be like this fucking guy?
Darth Bane has like the ultimate Chad face where he just I just put it in our Facebook chat where he's just laughing, like his mouth is just wide open, like ha ha ha, like it's just and then in the background Nihilus is just making bubbling noises.
He's here too.
Yeah. I've included my 4 favorite frames from the comic in the X Crew chat on Facebook, Corey.
Okay,
But
I will open that. I'll try not to dox us all. Will I maybe hold those up to the camera? Oh, there is the other smuggler that Cade and his crew pick up that looks a little strange.
yeah, he's a weird dude.
It's not, you know, but yeah. So it Crate is open about his struggles with Werlock. So I don't know how much the other Sith know what's going on, but he's openly telling Werlock like, "Oh, this armor's gonna get me. I have maybe like 10 or 20 years left, upper limit, unless I figure this out." So there's a struggle that Crate is going through. We don't get too much of Crate in this in Broken. It's mostly the story of like how Cade gets to where he is, because he's kind of a bit of a drug addict. But on the Sith side, the big character is the George Lucas special. We have the introduction of Crate's hand, Darth Talon.
Yeah, and I will mention too, if you've never read this, one thing you kind of have to understand is that the book, it's like if the prequel started at Order 66.
Yeah.
Or really, if it's like the prequel started Order 66, then a flash forward. So we miss pretty much all of the war. We don't see the Galactic Alliance at peace 100 years, after everything. It goes straight to the Purge. The Sith have won. We get that in the crawl, and then, yeah. Sorry, what I kind of, but yeah.
Darth Talon.
Darth Talon, yeah. There's many women in this book are not allowed to cover up.
No.
And Talon is one of those women. And yeah, George Lucas loved her.
Mm-hmm. He saw, I think, the cover art of her, and that's where his Darth Talon fandom comes from. I think like people extrapolate from him wanting Darth Talon and his potential sequel trilogy into thinking like George Lucas was an avid Legacy reader, which I feel like
George Lucas was
the
an
evidence
avid
isn't there.
schooner.
Yes. But like, yeah, so we have Delilah Blue, who's Cade's, I guess, kind of girlfriend, the mechanic that's on the Minoc with Cade. We have...
She must be a Zeltron. I didn't look at it, but I assume she's
yes,
a Zeltron.
yeah. We have Marassia Fel, the daughter of Rowan Fel, so the princess of the Empire. We don't know, so when this was coming out, it wasn't yet known that Jag and Jaina were gonna end up together, I'm pretty sure. So like we get some hints between Cade and Marassia of like Antares Draco, who's the lead Imperial Knight, which are like the Jedi of the Empire, being jealous of the attention that Marassia is giving Cade, but we once again have a classic Star Wars where they are in fact Skywalker cousins. So it a little bit.
I mean, they definitely did that on purpose because she's drawn like 2006 Princess Leia.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just subtext there. They, Yeah. To be fair, though, as much as Talon and Delilah are not wearing the most clothes, like Cade and Sin are really muscles out as well.
Yep.
There's everyone's just horny posting in this book.
Yeah. And like that's kind of one of the wow, Janus Page on Wookiee says Jaina Solo fell.
Yeah.
Okay. Um but yeah, the Fel, it's one of the most like the whole Fel family, the dynasty is definitely one of the most like 2006 parts of Star Wars.
Well,
Like
do you want to start with going through what Cade's going through, and then we'll probably spend most of the time talking about the Fel Empire stuff?
yeah, so Cade, he's I don't think we know exactly how many generations away from Luke and presumably Ben he is, but he's several. His father dies in the basically the first issue. He's fighting off Sith invasion of Ossus. His master is nearly killed at the same time, but we learn that Cade has some incredible healing abilities, but that he has to turn into the dark side or tune into the dark side to use them. He sort of shocks them back to life almost. Um, and
The force defibrillator power.
yeah, yeah, he says clear, and then he taps into the dark side. After that, we get the time jump, and he's sort of serving as a bounty hunter, which goes so far as to even consider turning in Jedi to the Sith or the Sith. So he's gone down the dark side. He's suicidal. He's taking death sticks. He's talking to Luke. Luke's really pissing him off. It's an interesting story, I'd say.
Yeah, so he's using the death sticks to try to stop the visions of Luke, because Luke's dead by this point. We never find out how or when Luke dies exactly, but he's got nothing better to do now other than haunt his, I think, probably great grandson. But I did some generational math on it once, and like like Cole's dad is probably Ben's son.
So Luke would have been, I think, maybe one more generation. Well, because Ben was a late born kid.
He was a late bloomer. Ben was what?
I'm just thinking like my son has his great grandparents still alive.
Yeah.
He's got his great grandfather still alive. So
Ben would have been like what, 18 in 44 ABY?
yeah.
Then we have 90 years, right?
Yeah.
So we know Cole was like a full ass man in.
And is that around like 130? Is that when he dies?
Well, he dies in 130.
130.
So if we assume him and Nat, his brother, who
Let's
we
just
haven't
say
met
he was
yet,
40, so that's 90.
But Rock is older. His brother.
Right.
So like that, I think like we see flashbacks of them at like in 80 ABY or something.
Yeah.
We know they're
Either
around
way,
at that point.
he's 3 or 4 generations between, basically.
There's only one unknown Skywalker is the theory I'm putting out there.
Okay. I mean, they tend to have kids pretty well, not Anakin, but Luke was a pretty old dad.
Yeah.
They're busy.
Yeah. But yeah, so Cole dying is apparently traumatic for Cade for some reason. And that sends him on his downward spiral. But with the galactic conquest or context we do have the Fel Empire, and they're still not epic. Anyone who says, "Oh, they're the good empire," no. Like Rowan Fel is better than Palpatine and better than Darth Krayt, but like, come on, it's such a low bar.
Not seeing a lot of aliens in the guard.
No, they get to be stormtroopers sometimes. They don't get to be really in government unless they're Chiss, because there's the one Chiss Moff, and like a lot of them are still happy to work with the Sith. They got to know that's not a good idea. But even the introduction to the era, there's like issue 0.5, and it just straight up says like, many of the Moffs are quite xenophobic, much like in Palpatine's day.
Yeah, I mean, even a good guy wouldn't work with the Sith. He just wouldn't. Like, and I think like like Roan Fel's kind of cool. So I think that like he's a cool character, and the Imperial
Yeah.
Knights are really cool. Like their design, it's like, you know, Legacy is pretty fan wanky in a way.
Mhm.
Like it's like, what if they were Jedi but they had an armor and were so sick? Which yeah, I appreciate that. It's a comic book. Like I think comics are kind of dumb at times, and this is one of them. Well, not dumb, but this one's a little dumb. Not all comics are dumb, but this one's a little dumb, and that's okay. It's, you know.
I mean, it's really what's the premise we can use to have the most lightsaber fights, and I'm here for that. But that's
Yeah.
what it is.
So do you think Vistara is she the great great grandmother of Cade?
Didn't they already have that kind of breaking off in Crucible? I haven't actually read Crucible, so I want
So
to read Crucible. But
they break up at
been a
the
while
end
for
of
Fate.
Fate of the Jedi, and then in Crucible she's around, and she's, you know, she's kind of bad, but like when I read it, I get the feeling that like they were purposefully keeping her around
Yeah,
to reintroduce later.
I mean, it's
Well, I mean, not
rare
reintroduce.
for Star Wars, especially, to deviate from a love interest. It's like you'd never really see people switch that often. Whoever's
Yeah.
first tends to be stays around. Like Mara was technically not introduced as a love interest, but it was seemingly going that way by the end of uh The Last Command, and then there were attempts to set Luke up with other people that didn't last. Han and Leia were always together. Isolde and Tenennial were together until they, like, even though they clearly didn't like
Yeah.
each other, they, until like she got brain fried, they were together. Even when authors forgot about Jason and Tenelka, they eventually got them back together. Like it probably was going to end up
Yeah,
being Ben and
I
Vistara.
agree. Like I think if they would have kept writing the books, I think that like the small and very passionate shippers would have basically, especially with the internet being a thing
Yeah.
as these books were coming out, I think it would have happened for sure.
But also, like, with how serialized it was compared to like the earlier days of Bantam, where like part of why there were other love interests introduced was because they were kind of jumping all over the timeline. There was less of a solid idea of like, oh well, Mara's going to end up together with him.
Yeah.
Like when you're looking at latter day Del Rey era, like they'd have to introduce yet another character for Ben to eventually end up with. Which who's got time for that?
Yeah. Also, he's a nerd, so it's not really believable he'd meet more than one woman
Okay,
interested in him.
well, that's just like your opinion, man.
You ain't letting Dana go, I know that for sure.
Okay, so that's rude. But also, what do you think? Like, how do you feel about Cade as a character?
This whole book, or this whole comic is really dragged down by the aesthetic sense of every single thing in it. And Cade is like the worst example of that. Where the story is kind of interesting, but he's at times edgy for edgy's sake. Like, oh, he's so badass. He's throwing out these he swears in the middle of combat, and he doesn't care about anything. It's fine. I don't love him as a character, but I mean, we've only now been introduced to him. But the whole like legacy it's so cheesy, and it does hurt it, I think, quite a bit.
Yeah, like I think for me, Cade is the weakest part of it. Like I think his character and like the everything being like so edgy with him and so dark. But we also need to remember that this was 2006 and this was like House Season 2. The like grungy drug addicted anti-hero is kind of the thing to do right now.
Yeah,
So it was unavoidable. It had to happen.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
But
I find the idea of the conflict pretty interesting, I guess, but it's pretty cheesy. I mean, it's exactly what you expect.
yeah, Jedi versus Sith. What do you have against Star Wars, Justin?
And the Sith were here the whole time, just hiding. Not those Sith hiding on the planet. Well, not that planet, not the crashed ones, the different ones. Oh no, not those ones. The other ones, the ones
We
on the planet.
got the One Sith, the True Sith, the Sith People's Front, the People's Front of the Sith. Just so many different splinter groups. They couldn't get their shit together.
The Democratic Sith Republic. Yeah.
Like there are so many Sith even just within the one Sith. It seems like every panel there's a new one. There's like
Yeah.
there's the one page, the one image when they're like on Osis, and it's got like Nile
Yeah.
in, I think it's Nil because it's not, yeah, it's spelled
Yeah.
differently, but
Yeah.
the Nagai, and I don't think we ever see any of the background ones again, and it's like a group shot that looks like everyone's D&D characters but painted with red face paint. There's like the barbarian guy, there's the fighter with the big beard, there's
I didn't put together that Nil was supposed to be a Nagai. That's cool.
Punisher, and then there's the Scarecrow. Is Scarecrow a D&D class?
I don't know.
There's some weird stuff going on with her hair, but yeah. So you see a new one all the time, and in Noob, in issue 4, there's like another one, Darth Malaval,
I mean, I get the idea that
you
there's
shoot.
supposed to be like 100 of them.
Yeah, they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these guys wouldn't have been around. They had to have a functional society on Korriban. We're already on Darth Warlock the Third. So
Yeah.
most of them wouldn't have been alive when Crate started this.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of them, I guess, would have been pulled from across the galaxy. Others would have been probably raised on Korriban.
Well, they've all got like, I don't know, red paint, I guess. So
A lot of them in one of the first issues, it looked like there were. I'm not sure if this was the intention. It looked like there were biological Sith aliens there.
yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was the intention or not.
Yeah, I don't know if they've like rebred into them, but they're all like different species though too. So
Mhm. Yeah, it's like I'm trying to find the issue. I think it's issue 1 actually. Yeah, issue 1. I think it's when the temple is being invaded. It just looks like there's straight up Sith aliens there, but I'm trying to find. Oh yeah, it's there's one that looks like it's a Sith alien, but yeah, I'm not sure. We also get a Jedi Bothan. At least I think he was a Bothan.
yes, I think his name is in the like the Prepare for Legacy introductory comic, and yeah, so it's standard Bothan naming convention, so he is.
Yeah.
I really like the picture of Cade, or of Cole, as he's getting zapped. I think the pose that he makes is just incredible.
He just
All the
looks
Sith on
so
the ground.
like he looks like Groundskeeper Willie. He's got like the big, like a young Groundskeeper Willie. He's got like he's just wild, man. He's just a wild dude. He's got a very very tight fitting, deep V-neck with a flared collar.
Mm-hmm.
He's got also no sleeves, by the way, no sleeves at all. He's got gloves on, long gloves. I think they're actually gauntlets, not quite gloves. I think they're fingerless. And then he's got sideburns down to his chin, no beard, and red hair. He kind of looks like what's his name? The guy from Watchmen when he takes his mask off. Rorschach. Looks like Rorschach without a mask on.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Got the pose. Like, at first, I thought he was doing the lightning out of his lightsaber in the one where he's like standing on the pile of bodies, but no, that's coming from the other Sith. So
Yeah.
at least he's
A
got
lot of
his-
lightning in these stories.
Yeah. I mean, I do as much as the edginess doesn't appeal to me. Like the overall art style, I do think looks cool. It's just some of the character designs are a little bit too far.
You got a lot to go through. Like these are pretty long comics. It's ambitious because we're in a completely new era. Obviously, they still got TIE fighters and Star Destroyers, and the Jedi are still Jedi, but they've got a lot to deal with.
But I mean, I like how many different designs get implemented, how many different ships, and like all the designs I think work. Like I like the TIE Predator, I like the Pelion class, the Star Destroyer that they introduce. We haven't gotten to the to like the scythe and everything yet, but I like those as well. It's just like the Jedi shuttle is probably the design that
You
I'm
mean
least
a
interested
Cade
in.
ship? It's like a turtle.
No,
Is
not
the
the
one you mean?
Minoc. The one
Oh,
that
the one that they
they're
escape in?
yeah, when they're
Yeah,
on Osis. It looks
yeah.
real bad. And it looks especially bad in the like in the introductory issue. But they also show the Jedi Temple on Coruscant in that and in parts of this. And it's like, oh, we made a bunch of transparent steel
It's
triangles where
nothing.
it's I don't like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. At least they tried to make Coruscant look like it had been long formed.
Yeah. There's at least some signs because it part of what we're going to be looking at is like there's a lot more influence uh on Legacy from New Jedi Order than you almost see in Dark Nest.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
at least in the setting, but one of the because one of the biggest
Pointing
things
that
that's in
like
the
we get like the reference to the Yuuzhan Vong and how like the war.
yeah
Uh, and I do think we get flashbacks to it later.
yeah
I would have liked to start with that. I think.
yeah like the way the Empire kind of takes over the galaxy is there's a restoration project. I forget what it's called. There's
Yeah.
a project that the Jedi and the Yuuzhan Vong Shapers are working on to restore some of the planets that have been sitting there in ruins from the Yuuzhan Vong War, and the Sith sabotage
The
it.
Osis project.
Is it just the Osis Project? I thought it had
I
like a code name or something beyond Osis Project.
I think you're thinking of the. I think you're thinking of the plan to fuck with it. Had a code name.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so the Osis Project, uh, they want to use it to restore Coruscant, and they want to use it to restore some other planets, and the other planets get sabotaged by the Sith. So the galaxy, who still hate the Yuuzhan Vong, blame the Yuuzhan Vong for ruining the planets that they already ruined again. And then it's that strife that kind of splits the Galactic Alliance. The Empire, which had been doing its victory without war program so it could take the galaxy back without declaring war on everyone, then decides, hey, what if we work with the Sith and then we just declare war anyways? So the Yuuzhan Vong are still at the root of this. So we're seeing how the Empire is just preying on all these interspecies tensions. They don't like it's all the Empire's just racism all the way down.
Yep. Yep. No good.
No good.
Don't let the kind facade fool you. Also, I feel like they go to Pellion's garden
On
on
Bastion?
Bastion.
Would that still be Pelions?
I
Not
mean,
I
I
mean
don't
not
think
still
so.
Pelions, but like is that garden the same one that he had?
I thought it was meant to be.
Okay.
Because it's like a very. I forget which book. I can't remember if it's Crimson. I forget where you see Pelion in the garden in one of the comics. But somebody just hit my window. But it looked very similar.
Do you know what
Although
issue
I
that
know
was?
Bastion
Oh,
moved around.
we can.
Yeah, it would have been like probably issue 3 when he returns when Roan Fel returns to Bastion.
I mean, it would make sense because like all the Dark Horse stuff, they want to
I'll see if I can find
reference
it
their
real quick.
own.
I think I found. Oh yeah, I found it here. Oh shit, I lost it.
Sort of issue.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's issue 3. Yeah,
yeah.
but halfway.
And there's like the glowing moth that's doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was meant to be it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, Pelion might have instilled that tradition of more Imperials gardening so they can root out the weak.
Yeah, it's definitely
he was weird
possible.
like that.
Yep. According, I just looked. It's
It is?
in. Well, they have it listed on Wikipedia. Apparently, it's later identified. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
Every Pelion class comes with a Pelion garden installed as well. I didn't
Like the months on
realize that one picture of like the turbo lasers and stuff on Bastion, like the one Bastion image that exists. I didn't realize that was from Legacy as well. Wasn't
Yep.
I didn't put that together yet. there's so much about the building aesthetic in this on almost every planet. It feels very
Yeah,
Tales of the Jedi. That's the main
yeah.
thing that I think of with the Jedi Academy, or yeah, the Jedi Temple.
Just because it looks so different.
It's the pyramids. It's always pyramids with Tales of the Jedi and with Dark Horse. So I like
Yeah,
those pyramids.
yeah.
But Empire wise, we see at the start of the first or at the end of the first issue, what kicks off some of the additional Imperial civil war is that Crate wants to take over the Empire. He kills what he thinks is Rowan Fel, but it turns out he's an imposter. So then Rowan is running a little Imperial, uh,
Sussy Baka.
an Imperial Sussy Baka, which is Chewbacca's grandson.
Mm.
That like the 7 year war that's going on. So there's the war between the Galactic Alliance and the Empire. Then there's the war between the Empire and the Empire. And it's got to be one of the longer wars, more sustained wars that we see in Star Wars. But we also don't see it.
Yeah, we don't see either of them really.
It's a brave choice to do that kind of time loop. And I don't love time jumps, both coming to this period and also the 7 years.
Well, yeah, I mean it's weird. To like, we're in a completely new era. We've got to relearn the political situation in the galaxy, and then it gets instantly kind of changed again.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a bit weird.
Well, I think it's more giving us very rushed backdrops for the situation that we get to. Like, I understand why they did it, but like it tends to work less for me in a setting like Star Wars, where typically they're going to be scrounging through every event possible.
Yeah.
Because like there's also the Darth Bane trilogy where we kind of get dropped into the end of a war between the Jedi and the Sith. So it wouldn't be. It's not like it's unique in that sense, but I just want all the
That one
gaps
was
filled with
also like a
slop.
bit easier to understand in that at the end of the day, it's again that's Jedi versus Sith or Republic versus Sith, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we at the start of the second issue, they have Shido Vow and Wolf Sazin, so the master of Cade and the apprentice of Cole,
Cade's father. Yeah.
going at like this little meeting of some Jedi that get tracked down by some Sith, and I think like all of them die except for those two.
Mhm.
A little unclear,
Yeah.
but that's when they start traveling together. They Shadow Vow or not Shadow Vow. Wolf Sazin wants to find Cade. He doesn't believe that when Cade blew up after hunting down some Imperials in space, doesn't believe he's dead. And he's right, because Cade is becoming a bounty hunter.
And Cade doesn't seem to care when
No.
they meet. He's like, whatever, dude.
No one really
Not
seems to care that much about
not an emotional group of men here.
Yeah, like Cade's not even using a different name. He's just
No.
kind of out there doing his thing. So like all the
But it was
Jedi that he ends up hunting,
2006. There were a lot of Cades running around.
I guess the blonde Cade that runs into a Jedi, but a lot of the Jedi he would have just been with at the academy, right? Like they might have met each other. Cole was a big name. He's not just some Jedi. He is the son of the maybe Grandmaster, maybe not. I forget if it makes it clear or not whether he. I know it makes it clear whether he was or not. It just I feel like it's the opposite of what everyone always assumes, and I can't remember what that is.
Yeah, I mean, no one forget his dad because he had that fucking ridiculous shirt on all the time.
He actually owned 10 of them, so he can wear it every day while still not smelling bad. The least believable part of this is when Cade is like locking them out of the ship, and he says he was in the refresher taking a shower.
Yeah, you've not.
You've not.
No,
Hasn't happened.
No, you're disgusting.
But yeah, so his little troop has Delilah Blue, the mechanic, and then Sin, who's also here. He doesn't seem to bring anything particular to the group other than a general dislike of Jedi.
He's kind of a dick, honestly.
Yeah, he wants to immediately sell out Cade as soon as they find out that Cade was Force sensitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then he wants to leave him, and he's got no real no real tie to anyone.
We're all just rogues out in our piratey life.
Yep. Yep. It's
But
very edgy.
they've been
Very,
on,
very.
they've been together for a while because they got together on Rav's pirate crew, and like
7 years. They've been because he gets picked up. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
but like it's such a compressed amount of time. Like 7 years isn't as long as it sounds. You can't do much
No,
in
it's
seven
not.
years.
Like, it almost seems like it's more like that he was a child when
Yeah,
his father was killed, and then he's like a full adult now.
yeah. Like he was probably like 16 or something with at the start, and he looks like he's probably like 35 or something
Yeah,
afterwards. But
he looks disgusting.
maybe it's just the rough life on the road. But
Yeah, he's doing a lot of drugs and
that's true.
with a lot of strange women, and well, one, I guess. So
Well, we don't know. Like she seems more into it than he is, and
she's really cool. I like her. I like all Zeltrons. They're just like fun, horny people. I forgot. Is it Danny in the Marvel comics? I think Danny's the Zeltron. She's really cool. I used to
Mhm.
like those comics quite a bit.
Yeah.
Danny was hot too. Big hair. Well,
Danny
what do
Quaid.
you think? There's only some people who like. Actually, this doesn't make sense. I was gonna say, where did Crook first come from?
Where did he first come from? I think
Yeah.
he came from the Republic comics before being in Legacy,
Mm.
because he was in the 2002. So no, I think it was actually in the 2003 Clone Wars.
So I was trying to think. Oh, there's probably some people who like wanted to learn more about Crook after learning about him, like in the Clone Wars, and then they click his Wikipedia page. Like, what the fuck? Who's this guy? What's a galactic triumvirate? But I'm just trying to figure out whether more people probably learn from him in Legacy or other places. But I guess probably other places.
I feel like
I'm
the
looking.
Clone Wars cartoon introduction of him was probably where people get most introduced to him. But like he's not a big deal in the cartoon.
Mm,
He's in the fight with Grievous, and then I think he's in some other stuff. But
he's got his cool hat. So
or what was that a retcon? Because like I think the Republic,
yeah, I don't know.
I think he might have been in the comics that introduced Ayla Secura and Quinlan Voss as well
Hmm.
before the Clone Wars cartoon.
Right.
Then maybe they got retconned together. I don't know if that was. I don't know how
Yeah, I always
intentional
think
that
like
was.
Crook. Oh yeah, he was in the. Like I always think he's more important because he's not even in canon yet. I was kind of surprised to learn. I
Uh,
thought he was a council member.
in canon?
No, he's not in canon yet.
No, but like okay, yeah, that I wouldn't expect him to really make it to canon.
I guess I think of him being more prominent in the Clone Wars era than he was. I guess.
Yeah, like he's in the background of some stuff, but like the his biggest appearance, I think, like where the most focus is on him is in Dark Times. I want to
Hmm.
say because he's got the little like it covers him escaping in Order 66, and he's got all the Padawans with him. So he's
Yeah.
got like his own parallel Jedi Academy to Luke, where
Yeah.
they're out there surviving. So he joins up with Luke's academy at some point, obviously, but we don't know when.
Mm.
So whether that's like post NJO and he just sat out the whole New Jedi Order, which seems weird. But I mean, if I was a Jedi that's hiding out after Order 66 and Darth Vader's son's like, yeah,
Hey
I'm
dog,
starting a Jedi Academy. I'm
we
waiting that
back
one
out
out.
here. Yeah.
Especially if it's like, oh, I'm about to join, and then Jason does his whole thing, and it's like, okay, maybe we're holding off a little bit longer.
Fair play.
Yeah, just competing Jedi Academy should have launched up,
Mhm.
but we
Yeah, I
do
mean, there's
get.
probably some. He probably could have helped a little, but that's fine.
eh, Maybe he was. We don't know. Just because we didn't
Yeah,
see it doesn't mean he wasn't helping.
yeah, he might have been on the frontier
Yeah, he could have been fighting that the war in the unknown regions against the Yuzon Vong.
for sure.
But we have so in issue 2, we have the our introduction to like Cade and his smuggler crew. We have them hunting the Jedi. We see Sin getting real distrustful of the Jedi. He thinks he's going to be mind controlled. But we also get that's when uh, Darth Talon gets anointed as the Hand. Her final test is killing her master. But that's gotta be a rare one for them to break out, because they can't all just be killing their masters. There's too many of them.
That's inconvenient.
So she's starting out special.
Yeah. And she really loves her master. So.
Yeah, it's I mean,
like it's not appropriate.
Yeah, it's very much like, oh, look at this subservient, barely clothed Twi'lek. Like,
alien slave I have.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Just, it is what it is, baby.
Not great. It's not great. Still gonna use her as a thumbnail. I'm not stupid.
Pragmatic. I could still talk about it, but
yeah. So the job that Crate gives her is you need to find Emperor Fel, and the way you're gonna do this is by getting to his daughter. So she starts off killing the Imperial Knight who's supposed to be guarding Marassia Fel, and then we just have Marassia and her BFF from the Imperial mission.
For Winter.
What's her name? Her last name is Val. What's her first name?
It's yeah.
Her fuck. A something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Astral. Not Astral. Astral.
I believe you.
And she's bad at running. Gets very tired very fast.
Yeah. Well,
almost gets him killed.
I think they've been running for a bit.
It's not a good strategy. This isn't how you get away from a Sith.
No.
Pledge to serve them. And when they're not looking, you run away. That's when you run. You got to be judicious with your running. Luckily, though,
gotta wait till they're talking to the ghosts of all the creepy Sith from the past.
They do that so much.
Yeah, they really do.
Like my spoiler.
I did the exact same thing in Dark Empire.
I have a video coming out this weekend that Marmar very graciously edited for me, about all the Sith that tried to come back to life, and it's basically all of them.
Yeah.
So there's basically every Sith gets to hang around as a ghost, but then there's a lot of them that come back to life, and most of them are coming in these comics.
Did you mention Darth Bane trying to jump his way into his apprentice?
I did.
Okay.
That one comes up last. But like, we get Darth Andeddu in this series. We get the fucking Mur talisman with Karnas Mur. We like there's so many Sith in this.
But none of them get to be ghosts, but they don't get to make their way to the shores of Valinor.
Would that be the redemption for them?
I think that's just it's just where you go in Lord. Like,
yeah, but then don't you have to be alive still?
Is that where the? Well, it's kind of weird because aren't they like? Isn't it kind of that like elves get reborn until eventually they go to Valinor?
I thought they. Do they go there when they die, and then they can also sail there to the Undying Lands? Is it different if you go there one way versus the other?
I'm not sure. I understood that they get to come back to the real world if they want, or they can choose to. But
well, is that the elves or the Valar?
The elves, because what's her name in the woods?
Galadriel?
Yeah, Galadriel. She talks about they're going to leave soon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they were going to go to Valinor. I didn't think they'd like die and come back to the.
No, I think that they can come back to life.
Huh. Seems unfair.
Like as many times as they want, and then eventually they kind of like that's kind of my problem with Lord of the Rings. Is like all these elves are really concerned about what's going on, but at the end of the day, like they're kind of just chilling. Like they will just leave and be cool. Like it's not really a big deal for them so much.
My Lord of the Rings lore is not as strong as it could be, so I'm gonna have to take your word
I've
for
only
it.
read the trilogy once, so I'm sure
Yeah,
it's
but
better
weren't
than
you read it recently? Is
yeah,
the
I read it recently.
any Silmarillion dipping for you?
I got too much. It's not even that long. I'll probably read it at some point.
It's okay, I guess the last time I tried to read it, I was like 9, so maybe it wasn't as boring as I thought it was. Like I crushed the trilogy in like before 2000, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
And that is the only time I've read it, even though I'd like to read it, but
It's not actually that long. Funny enough,
I think like
especially
a
if you break it up
thousand
into
pages.
6 books.
Yeah. I have the not broken, but my pages are kind of gross now, I think, probably. So I
I
can't
think
be.
the Silmarillion's actually the shortest
It
of like
is.
compared to the other three.
It's longer than The Hobbit, but shorter than any other ones by a significant margin.
Took me a long time to get through the Two Towers.
I think The Two Towers was my favorite.
I really like the first book. I really like the first like actual book, like in the 6 books where they're just like setting up. I think it's called I think it's called Journey to the East or something, where they're like leaving the Shire and just going on an adventure, and it ends with them. What's it called? Crossing the river.
And then when they're coming back, it's Journey to the West, and they meet Goku.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I think
think
it's
I
called the Ring
skipped a
Sets
lot
Out. Actually,
of
I think it's called the Ring Sets Out.
I skipped a lot of the Sam and Frodo chapters while they're just going.
Yeah, I mean you can.
When I read Lord of the Rings, it was that, especially Return of the King. I think I tuned in a bit more for the Dead Marshes, but there's that, and then in Harry Potter, when Hagrid comes back from meeting with the giants, I always used to skip that as well because I couldn't give less of a fuck. But those were my two.
I was like when I was a kid, I used to watch Attack of the Clones, but really I would just skip ahead to the point where the clones picked them up from the arena. So really, I'm just
Very
watching the last
efficient.
20
It's like a
minutes.
5 minute clip.
Yeah, I would always skip. Well, not always, but I'd say about 50% of the time I'd skip the first 40 minutes of Return of the Jedi as well.
Hmm. I mean,
Once they're on home one, we're good.
I feel like with Attack of the Clones, if you're going to do that, the move is like going right for when Mace Windu pops up behind Django and Dooku. Get the whole Battle of
Yeah,
Geonosis
it's just
in.
like the fight in the arena is not as fun. Like
Okay.
I used to pause it and watch like the Geonosian battle, and that was really cool.
Okay. So the on to issue 3, the cover, the picture of Emperor Fel on the cover.
Oh
His
my god.
face is on the white, or I guess it's the same picture regardless of the color. But he looks very Sopranos, and it looks like he's
It's like he's got like booze hound nose. Like I don't understand. Like I understand like, you look at a panel in a, 30, 40 page comic. Yeah. You know, artists have time. The cover? Come on, man. Why does he look like that? He looks like that guy from American Horror Story who passed away last year. The short guy. Fuck, what was his name?
Evan Peters.
Leslie Jordan. Looks like Leslie Jordan.
Jordan.
Yeah. Looks like Leslie Jordan like 5 years before he died. 10 years before he died. I really
Okay.
liked him. He was a good actor.
I mean, I'm still getting more like Tony Soprano has to fart, but
All that gabagool.
did Soontir Fel have the same hair streak that like Jag and Rowan have?
I don't know. Um, I mean,
The
we should be able to
white
find that easy
spot?
because he spent a lot of time in comics.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
And I mean, neither.
You know who does have that extra bit of white in their hair?
Oh,
Tulsi Gabbard, but also Isan Isard.
yep.
So is Jag actually Isard's? Is it the Isard Empire?
I don't know. All I can think about. Sorry, I got completely distracted because I was looking at a picture of Soontir Fel where he looks so much like Steven Seagal that it's my fan casting now.
The one from the Essential Guide? Or
Um,
is there a different picture? Or is it the DeviantArt one?
it's the DeviantArt one.
Okay. No, I see it. I see it. The Empire of the Hands wore on wooden chairs.
My favorite, my favorite clip of him from that is from one of his sniper movies when he's like on the phone and he's just got the pistol pointed towards the door. So fucking funny.
I don't know that I've actually seen him in a movie ever.
Um, I've seen more clips of people making fun of him in movies than anything else.
Like I've listened to I don't know if he even had his own episode, but he at least came up on Behind the Bastards a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. It might have been just a dedicated Steven Seagal episode. It sounds like that rings true, but that's where most of my Steven Seagal exposure comes from, is just Behind the Bastards.
Yeah.
Deserves it.
Yep.
We have Marcia and Astral hook up with Cade's group. They want passage to a planet where they're going to meet with Wolf Sazin and Shido Vow. Very convenient that everyone's going to be in one place.
Yeah.
There's an Acklay fight, which is fun, and Darth Talon's there.
They actually kind of just get stabbed. It's not much of a fight.
Well, it's a nice, fun entrance for them to get everyone together, show off all the Jedi skills. And the fight with the Sith there is how everyone finds out that Cade is also Force sensitive.
Yep. Even though he uses I think he uses the Force in the bar fight too, though.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah. Force push.
But this is
it's different.
This is also where Marasi. So in the fight with the Sith, this is where Antares gets all jealous, because Sia decides to throw herself in front of Cade while fighting one of the Sith, and she gets mortally wounded. But after a big debate, Cade's able to bring her back through forced defibrillation.
Yeah. Power of love, except family love.
That kind of love.
Yeah.
Can only do that so many times in a franchise. Where is that? So, who is it? Is it Darth Nil? That's Nil. That's with Talon on this one. And
yeah, because he's fighting Cade.
Yeah, so
Cade, it's got the connection of.
He's the one who said, like, he tells Talon, "Ha, you're supposed to be in charge of this, so I'm not going to get in trouble at all." But little does he know, telling Darth Krayt that there's a Skywalker around is actually going to be worthwhile information. He's fallen further in the ranks.
Yeah, and also he's a simp, so.
Dark Lord of the Simps.
We grew very desperate on Korriban.
I can't do anything in this armor. It all hurts.
Yeah, that's all I had for the comics. I mean, I'm excited to see what comes next.
So we've got our group reunited with the Empire, or with the Emperor. Rowan and Sia are together. Cade is revealed to be a Jedi. They're all
Mhm.
cracking jokes. No one likes a funny Jedi,
No.
but slowly but surely he's on the road to redemption.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I think things will work out.
no, I don't think so. Want to put a bet on it right now?
I don't know.
Damn, you would have won. Fine. So yeah, so our next episode should be on Unifying Force, ending out the New Jedi Order series.
Yep, and one of the last ones of the year as well. So it's if it's next week, it'll be the 21st. If it's the subsequent week, it'll be the 28th. So
That's how dates work.
yep.
But we'll be probably alternating with more of the New Jedi or of more of the Legacy era.
Yep.
So it's kind of a weird setup because it's not like the Tales of the Jedi where it was just a bunch of like 6-issue sets. So we'll probably have to do some combinations of stuff.
Yeah, maybe even just cut some off and remember it because yeah, it's a longer. It's what 50 issues, I think.
Yes. So like we've got issues 1 through 7 covered, and we talked a little bit about Noob. Uh, so for the next Legacy episode, we'll probably do Allies, Trust Issues, and Ghosts because that'll be
Mhm.
6 issues. And we'll
Mhm.
try to do that. Then like Claws of the Dragon, I think is a 6-part together. And then Indomitable and Loyalties together is 6 parts. Vector and Hidden Temple would be 6. So we'll try to do it like that. So it'll be like 5 or 6 every time that we cover together.
Mhm. Yeah, it works out well.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. This episode should be available audio wise tomorrow, probably. From when I'm gonna try to get them all up on Friday. One of us will get them up.
Yep.
Uh, yeah. So next week, Unifying Force, unless something bad happens, in which case we'll be doing.
Not even bad. It's a very busy time
Well,
of the
yeah,
year.
something bad like us not finishing the books. In which case we will be doing Allies, Trust Issues, and Ghosts.
Mhm. Yeah, we'll have an episode either way.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.